Hello, 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 hello. I trust all is well with everyone watching on this platform right now. The lunch hour with high achievers. God richly bless you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us this afternoon. Glory to God. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. As usual, you're welcome on Facebook and Instagram and on YouTube. We welcome all our viewers across the nations of the earth and would like to encourage you to start sharing, start sharing. Invite someone to join you. Let them know that lunch hour with the high achievers has just begun right now. The three T's: tell somebody, tag somebody, and share this on your timeline for somebody to be blessed. I have three distinguished guests who will be a great blessing to us this afternoon. So keep sharing all our Instagram viewers, keep sharing all our Facebook viewers, keep sharing. Once again, you are all welcome. Now I'd like to introduce my guests to the platform. Glory to God. We have Bishop Nicholson with us today. We have Andrew Brown from BME, Bishop Nicholson from Acts Christian Church, and then we have Dr. Velmont McClement. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome. Please, would you like to
Thank you.
say a word or two as we begin our session today? Bishop Mark, would you like to say a word or two before as we begin the program this afternoon?
Well, I want to thank God for this opportunity and also to you, Bishop, for having this lunchtime gathering. It's been going well, I've been heard, I've been doing my research, and it's touching people's lives. So to be a part of something like this, I'm really grateful. And we pray that those that are listening to us today will be blessed. But Bishop, we thank you. Thank you.
God bless you, Bishop. It's a great honor to have you. I know you carry a very busy schedule, so for you to join us this afternoon is a great honor. God richly bless you. Dr. McClevers, would you like to say a word or two? You're welcome.
Um, Good afternoon, everybody. And I just want to thank you, Bishop, for this. I think this is my first time on this kind of platform that you've created. So it's a wonderful forum. I want to also hail Bishop Nicholson, who was there at a time when I needed, someone there. I want to say to hail Andrew Brown as well. We are all coming from a very long way, and it's good to see you all. And I've worked with all of you, and I thank God for bringing us together on this journey. We're still on that road. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Thank you very much, Dr. Velma, for joining us this afternoon. Then, Andrew Brown, would you like to say a word or two as we start our session this afternoon?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Afternoon to you, Bishop, and to my Bishop as well, Bishop Mark, and to our Dr. Velma as well, who she said, just a minute ago, we said, we've worked together, wow, it was nearly 10 years ago, doing child protection in the church as well. So, welcome to all three of you. And also, welcome to everyone who's listening as well. Hopefully, we're going to have an awesome 1 hour. And as Bishop said, please share with your friends and your family, and hopefully, we can have a wonderful time.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, this is Lunch Hour with High Achievers. As you know, we started this program when the lockdown began, where I started teaching on how to become an achiever. We are all born to become achievers. Trapped within every follower is a leader waiting to manifest. Therefore, we are all born to be leaders in our respective field. We are all born to be achievers. God told us to be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and then exercise dominion on the earth. So we're supposed to make a difference on this planet, not just to exist. We are not born to make a living, but to make a difference in all our spheres, in the 7 mountains and the places of influence. And so we started teaching on the principles of achievement. And then halfway we decided, let's bring people who have actually caused great waves and are achieving great things in their feet standing on the shoulders of achievers, you also become an achiever. So I'm honored to have these three distinguished guests with us today. God richly bless you. Okay, I understand it's very echoey. Okay, is that on my side or somewhere? Okay, I'm going to reduce the volume to make sure we don't have an echo. Okay. All right. Can you hear me? Bishop Mark, can you hear me? Andrew,
Very clear.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Bishop Mark is the founder, was the founder of EICOG, which is now one of two churches which has amalgamated to form the Acts Christian Church. He works in the role of bishop, offering advice and being a mentor for many leaders in the church. He has hosted several breakfast meetings over the years to facilitate networking for ministers within the body of Christ. In recent months, he has launched a prayer initiative within the forum of Who Ministers to the Minister. This is a very powerful platform and gives a safe environment for pastors and leaders to meet and pray for each other and encourage one another. He is an accomplished keyboard Hammond player, a gifted musician who helps to take worship to another level with his ministry. He's married to Lorraine and is a father of 2 girls and 1 boy. We are privileged. He is a sought after speaker, ministered in parts of Africa, South Africa, Australia, Nigeria, Ghana, the Caribbean, St. Vincent, Jamaica, and other areas. He's also the founder of MAN, M-A-N. I will get him to explain that. If I'm going to read his bio, it's going to take, his achievements are so powerful, it's going to take the whole session. So, Bishop Mark, you are welcome. It says, cut it. Glory to God. Now, Andrew Brown is the Chief Executive Officer of Croydon BME Forum, previously founding Elevating Success UK, a training and development company. Andrew has worked in the voluntary sector for over 20 years, helped to raise over £5 million in funding to assist small businesses with their growth and development. He's also a leader at Mountain Movers Ministries based in Croydon. And Andrew has been married for 23 years, has 2 children and a grandson. And Andrew's forte is leadership and development of people, in particular young people. Andrew, you are welcome.
Thank you. It's my 23rd. I've actually, tomorrow is 23 years. So after today, we're on for the weekend.
Wow, congratulations. Congratulations. Glory to God. Then finally, we have Dr. Velmont McClymont, who is a writer, a poet, a storyteller, a community activist, an international speaker. She is a former HE lecturer in British colonialism. She has taught creative writing and has spoken in schools, libraries, churches, and other settings in Vienna, Scotland, Wales, Dublin, America, Jamaica, and in England. Born in rural Jamaica, where she attended a Baptist school church, she came to London during the Windrush era, attended a Roman Catholic Church convent school in London. A former member of KICC, she now worships at Trinity Baptist Church. Also known as writer Kate Elizabeth Ernest. She is the author of Hope Leaves Jamaica, Festus and Felix, Birds in the Wilderness, and Tricky Tricky Twins. She has just completed a collection of lockdown poetry for publication and is currently a historical novel set in Jamaica, 1731 to 2007. Dr. McClymont, you are welcome.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you.
God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I believe you will agree with me that these people qualify to be on this platform, high achievers, as you can tell, and there's more to come. So now we're going to buy into their mind and then ask them some questions. Please ensure, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, please start sharing. More people must benefit from the wisdom of these 3 distinguished guests. Tag somebody, share it on your timeline, and then tell somebody to join. Let's invite many people to join us on this platform. God bless you. Now I'm going to start with you, Bishop Nicholson. How significant is Black History Month? This month is labeled as Black History Month. How significant is Black History Month? And why must we celebrate Black History Month? What are some of the major contributions that Blacks have made to our city, our borough, our nation that you know of? Why is Black History Month significant, and why should we celebrate Black History Month?
Thank you. I believe that Black History Month is extremely important because we're here. We've made contribution that is helping us in our everyday life. We have something to contribute. We wasn't just given an opportunity to be landed in this country just to do what we do. We have made contributions. And it was really good even this week to see some Black presenters on the TV, women presenters, maybe for the very first time. We have value, we have worth, and we have definitely, without a doubt, got a story to tell. We have also incorporated throughout this week, throughout this month in our praise and worship and in our services, a segment of saying what our great achievement has been. I think one of the greatest achievements I know, and I cannot remember his name, and that's why I think the history is important, of the stoplight, we understand was designed by a Black person. It's controlling the traffic. It's bringing law and order in a sense. So I look at those type of things and contribute. We have made contributions, and it should, without a doubt, be shared. I wish it wasn't just 1 month. I think our history doesn't just depict 1 month. I think it should be even on the curriculum in our schools, so we can bring an awareness right across the whole borough and the whole entire world. It's not all gloom and doom. Black is not a negative word. It's positive. And we should always, without a doubt, mention a bit of history, even when we're rightly dividing the word, teaching the word, or giving good examples to our young people.
Awesome. Dr. Velma, would you like to answer the same question? Why is Black History Month important, and why should we celebrate Black History Month?
For me, it is not so much of celebrating Black History Month, as Bishop Nicholson just said. It should be every day like all other histories, but most of all, we have been written out of history. We have actually been relegated to footnotes in British history or other people's histories. It's very important that we reclaim our history and tell our stories. If we do not tell our stories, others will do so for us, and they will write their version. Also, our young people are not being taught our history properly in schools. So for many young people, history begins with transatlantic slavery. We know that's not the case. And so as reparationists, we need to ensure, especially when you are now classed as an elder, as thought, it's key, crucial that we are rewriting ourselves back into that narrative that we've been written out of. Okay, so that's for me, is Black history every day.
Awesome. Andrew, what's your perspective on that?
Yes, hi. I totally agree with Dr. and Bishop as well. And why is this important? I would say we have to know our history. It's simple as that. Growing up as a young man in Brixton, we didn't really know. I must say, we didn't get taught in school. It was very much whiteified. I don't even think we celebrated Black history in the 1980s, etc. Something that we've done this week, like before, we've done a cruise line, and what we've done, we had over 50 people on that cruise line, and what we've done a little bit of research, and what we want to do is celebrate our Black British people, because I think too often it's always that American. So the team name that we came up was Bill Morris, you know, one of our youth who came and just done wonderful things in the UK. Bernie Grant, as we know. Miss G. Bernard, the first black councillor in Croydon County. Mary Seacole, everyone knows about her. And of course, Darcus Power as well, who I've just met in the last 2 weeks ago, done some wonderful things and some awesome marches in the UK as well. So for me, it's like, how can we now get this information to our younger children so that they remember as well and do not get whitewashed with the American side of things?
Yes.
Awesome. I understand there's an echo coming up.
Yes, there is.
Shall we see if it says it normally happens when there's more than one device, phone, laptop, or computer. So let's see if we can close some other devices that we have.
I have another. It's not on.
Okay.
Is there an echo with me?
Yeah,
I can hear it.
Yes.
I can hear your echo as well. So, I mean, great contribution, but it was just echoing.
Yeah.
Am I echoing as well?
Yeah.
Can they hear the echo?
A little bit.
There is a little echo here as well.
Okay.
I really don't know what it is. Before you go on, I had spent so much time on reclaiming our history that when we think of Croydon also, it's important to remember Bishop Wilfred Woods, who was here in Croydon, and the great work that he did. But more so for me, it is the fact that he was trying to bring the community together to set up organizations independent of any government funding so that we could actually be key actors in our destiny. And also he set up a credit union because we must generate wealth in our community for our young people. So I want to remember Bishop, and also is it Cicely, what's her name? The police lady, her name just gone out of my head. First police woman in Croydon, Cicely Allen, and she was at Fell Road. It's important to remember her. And as we go on in the discussion, if you don't mind, Bishop, I want us to come back to Councillor G. Barnard because there's something that needs to be done about her legacy. So if I be quiet for you, yes?
That should be fine. One of the questions I was going to ask was, during the lockdown, there was a lot of emphasis on the BAME being classified as the most vulnerable to the COVID during the lockdown. Is there any reason why? Let's start with Andrew. Why was it that the BMA was specifically mentioned or targeted as being more vulnerable to the COVID-19? Any particular reason why?
Well, yeah, thank you for that. Am I still echoing?
What we can do also is maybe when one person is speaking, we can mute. We can mute our phones. Yes. So we'll mute our phones when one person is speaking.
Hello. Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
Is that better? So and so. So it's all about inequalities. With the seat where I'm actually sitting as the chief executive of the Croydon BME Forum, I actually I'm privileged enough to sit around the table with the director of public health in Croydon, and have meetings with her, and also have meetings with her staff and other people in Croydon as well, and in the UK as well, about the issues around COVID. But one of the things, some of the things that have come out of that is, unfortunately, you know, that the BME community live in the poorer side of town as well. You know, our houses, a lot of our house, maybe not so much the black, and I say the black, the Jamaican, the African community, but definitely the Asian community. They live, a lot of them live maybe with generations within one house as well. So it's not just mum, dad, you know, and children. It might be grandma, etc., etc. So of course, if one person had COVID, and then it will spread quite quickly within that community as well. Another thing as well is also that about social distancing as well. I've done loads of campaigns with Croydon Council over the last 3 months as well, about like the last 6 months around social distancing. And we haven't, as a community, we have not been social distancing. If you go to Thornton Heath, if you go to West Croydon, you can still go into all the butchers where we can, we go and get our lamb neck and our planting and all of those stuff. And people are still going in there without their face masks or still not doing, the social distancing as well. So the question is, why has it spread so much? I would definitely say is inequalities of where we live in, but also that the lack of social distancing as well. If you look at people in Cornwall, it wasn't hitting them like that because they don't go into those kind of places and they don't share houses with families. So that's one of the things why it was really hitting. And the food that we eat as well. We have to watch the food that we eat as well. High blood pressure, diabetes are two of those things that public health was saying was affecting our community.
Awesome. Bishop Mark, would you like to speak on that as well? What can be done to avert what Andrew just mentioned? What can be done to avert that?
Yeah, you can hear me? Good. I think that's right, Mike. I mean, everything that Andrew has said is perfectly right. Social distancing. We also have to realize that we're a culture where we're social beings. I took a funeral yesterday, and the best friend was actually giving their lasting tribute, and they broke out and started to cry, and that was the closest to the person who had died. And the person said, I couldn't handle this anymore, and actually left because they were broken. And you could see so many people in that chapel moving towards the only best thing, which was to hug them, but couldn't because we were in a different time and space. I've never experienced that. The best response was to embrace. She broke down. Her best friend had died. And she said, I can't take it anymore, and walked out the chapel. And you could see people wanted to go up and hug because that's us. We are social beings. So although we are correct about not keeping social distance, not interacting, it's really going against the grain of who we are. So this is a whole brand new discipline that we know if our leaders are telling this is the only way we're going to get through, it's something we got to actually adhere to. But, it takes time. And we're seeing 43,000 people have died in this country. That's a lot of people. 722,000 cases and 40 million worldwide. It's a reality. But there's an education in this process. But we've got to learn it. But it's ever so difficult because we are social beings. Notice our young people. They're all right. They're very much social. They can sit and don't talk because they have the social media. They know how it works. They can text each other and things move on. But for us, it's a whole brand new discipline. And I pray that we get there as quickly as we can. So, yeah, everything you said, Andrew, is correct. It's a new discipline.
Dr. McClement, would you like to say something on that? If you unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm going to pick up on a number of things here. Number one, I don't do BME or BAME, but that's because I'm an academic as well, and I know it's a political term. I'm not going to go into that. Our staff, our doctors and nurses are at the front line. I have had reports from nurses who are terrified because they're taken off wards and actually put on COVID wards, and doctors. So when we've seen reports about low-income families or areas, people living in areas with high levels of deprivation, that something is wrong, because how is it that BAME doctors are dying and nurses? That is because they are at the front line of COVID on the wards. So we need to deal with that. and unions need to get involved, because lots of nurses are afraid to speak out. And I am speaking out today that something needs to be done about staff, BAME, especially Black African staff, nurses especially, working on front. Number two, it is very important not to pathologize us that we have high blood pressure, diabetes. Other communities have those, shall we say, ailments, for want of a better word in my head right now. So it is very important that we don't buy into this, because we are telling the world, oh, they will get COVID because they've got underlying health conditions. Other people have those health conditions as well. So we know that it is to do with health inequalities, areas with high levels of deprivations, and also overcrowded transport. So when we say COVID does not discriminate, we need to think carefully here, because a lot of families can't afford a four-wheel drive or a car to drive around. So people are using public transport. And I have noticed yesterday that London Transport and the Underground, they are doing their bit to ensure that surfaces are regularly cleaned. And that is important, because we know that BAME people tend to be using transport more often. I'm not going to touch what Bishop said about social distancing and Andrew to do with the church. I'm going to leave that to you, but those are my three key takeaway from here. BAME staff, especially Black African staff in healthcare, need better protection. That's what I'm going to say. Thank you.
Andrew, let's come to the BAME, the BME. What does the BME stand for? And what is your role in the BME? What are some of the community initiatives of BME? And how can residents in our community take advantage of them? And what can leaders, ministers, pastors do? Or how can they get involved in what the BME is involved in the community? So what's the BME? What does it stand for? What's the ethos behind the BME?
Thank you.
What
you.
are some of the things that they do? What's your role there? And what are some of the community initiatives people can take advantage of?
Well, excellent. Thank you, Bishop. So the BME is actually the proper name is the Croydon BME Forum, and the website is www.cbmeforum.org. So what does the BME stand for? So we are one of the 4 infrastructure organizations as well in Croydon. And when I say the infrastructure organizations, what we do, we have a membership of over 450 groups in Croydon. And what we do is a bit like what Dr. Velma just said as well. We're here to be a voice for the community, and in particular, the BME community. Many years ago, as we all know, decisions were being made in Croydon for the BME community, and there was nobody sitting around the table making those decisions. So it was the white man, the white lady saying, "Oh yes, this is good for the BME community," but they actually never even engaged with the BME community. So having an organization like the BME Forum is here to actually sit around. So we now sit around the tables with the CEO of Croydon Council. We sit around the table with the director of finance. We sit around the table with the director of the public health, and all of these people, so that when there are decisions being made, I can say yes, or I can say no, or wait, have you looked at this as well? So exactly what Dr. Velma just said about the staff. We are running workshops during the day for staff to be able to attend online and to kind of raise their concerns as well. So when I can then go back to the CEO of Croydon University Hospital and say, do you know your staff are actually saying this? And the good thing is that they actually paying us, and they want to hear from us as well. because the culture for many, many years has been that they weren't hearing from us. So us as an organization, we are here to knock down the door. I'm not just sitting in those tables or in those meetings, not saying anything. I'm there challenging, which I know our bishop and Velma will want me to do as well. But some of the other things that we do at the forum as well. So mental health is now, I would say, our main activities now, and mainly because of all the issues that has come out of COVID as well. Before, if you would have asked me 9 months ago what was our main, it would have been serious youth violence. But thankfully, that has gone down a little, hasn't disappeared, but unfortunately, mental health has now come up. But we do with social isolation as well. So with the over 65s, we have afternoon sessions with them every Wednesday. So we had 35 of them have an afternoon tea on Wednesday just gone. So we delivered food to them, and then we joined them on Zoom, and we all had afternoon tea to celebrate Black History Month as well. What other things? Long-term condition projects as well, around health. So around all of those things, around diabetes, high blood pressure, we're running workshops around that as well. And of course, just the last thing before I pass on is we've also opened up a wellness center within the Whitgift Center as well. So that's been open for the last 9 months as well. And that's all about health and well-being. So everything to do with health and well-being in the Black and the Black or the BME community is now being run at that center that's open Monday to Friday from 9 o'clock to 5 p.m. So that's just a little bit of what we do. So I don't want to take up too much time, but as I said, if you want more information, please go to our website. It has all of the workshops that we do. And just one last thing, since March the 23rd, we've run over 150 Zoom meetings as well. Before March the 23rd, we didn't run no Zoom meetings. And since March the 23rd, we've run over 150 Zoom meetings to keep our community engaged and updated. Oops. Bishop, you're on mute.
Would you like to give us the website?
Yes. So
once again.
Thank you. So the website is www.cbmeforum.org, or you can email me at andrew@bmeforum.org.
Awesome.
Thank you. You're on mute again, Bishop.
Right. I have to get used to this. Okay. All right, Dr. McClement, I'm coming to you now that I'll go to Bishop. Based on the woman's view, the launch of, I put up the banner up at the moment, 1 minute. Yeah. The woman's view, the launch of the Black History Month program for women of African heritage, state the need for dealing with the many issues that women face in the community, which is the ethos behind your setting that up. And also, you mentioned about why we must understand hair loss among Black women, health matters, mental health, well-being, support group, diabetes, hypertension in our community, like Andrew Brown mentioned. So could you explain further about the women's view, which you launched during this Black History Month? Why are women facing this hair loss, health matters, mental health, well-being? What are the support groups that can be used to alleviate this issue?
Can you hear? Let me begin by saying that this has been in the pipeline for 5 years. On my travels all over the place, women will, and since lockdown, I have had more phone calls than you can imagine. Velma, or whatever people call me, Sister Velma or Dr. McClement, you've got to speak up. You've got to do something. And I thought, we can't keep talking. I've got to do something. So I set up Woman's View, and the name is really from when I was in Scotland 5 years ago, and we were discussing up in Scotland. I'm a member of the African Forum in Scotland. We were discussing putting a television program together, a talk show for women. Nothing came of it, but the very week when I decided to launch this, I went to my old computer and I'm saying, Lord, this thing is breaking down. My computer is breaking down. It's taken a long time, but this is important. And so I thought, I've got a new computer now. I've got to transfer the information to the new computer. Lo and behold, I found the pilot of 5 years ago, the 7th of October. You hear this? Of Woman's View. And I thought, this is crazy. I cannot believe it. I haven't seen it for 5 years. I'm transferring to a new computer. Lord, yes, this is what I'm going to do. So Woman's View is really a discussion forum. You can call it a toolkit, if you like, and to bring women together. That was the initial thing, but we are fighting a colossal battle at the moment, systemic racism. We cannot fight alone, and therefore men are more than welcome to join and to participate, as you will see from the flyer. So it is not so much initially all the things I put on the first flyer. We were going to deal with hair loss because somebody was launching. My good friend from Croydon, Sister Sarah, was launching a book on hair and dealing with hair care. So hence the first flyer. But at the moment, hair care and hair loss obviously is very important because it's part of your identity and who you are as a woman. And I'm not going to touch that so much today because it's a subject we're going to deal with at another time. That's just whetting the appetite as such. At the moment, we need to fight racism. We need to fight systemic racism that is impacting on our community. And those of us who have a voice, we have to use it to bring experts together, professionals together, academics, everybody with knowledge, skills, and experience. We want to bring them to the table because we must empower Black African women in the community because our young people are suffering. If you do not empower women, mothers, parents, they cannot represent themselves. So Woman's View, the motto is representation matters. And why that is because too many people have been representing us around the table. I've had the good fortune, and at the time I didn't see it as such. Bishop will tell you, and Andrew will tell you, and even you yourself, Bishop Michael, will tell you, 10 years ago, I did not see it as a good fortune to work at Croydon Council. Today, I realize that God placed me there on the inside of the Child Protection Unit to see what was going on there. So now I can have a voice to be able to empower women and families. So Woman's View is in its early infancy, and all the things that you've mentioned, Bishop, on the initial flyer, they will all come to pass, but right now we are learning to creep before we can walk. And what that means, it is bringing experts, business people, academics. Most of all, we need academics on board. It is no use having knowledge in your heads and those books you can see through the window, through that mirror vaguely. It's because I've positioned the computer. They're there for a reason. We cannot have these books in our homes and they're not being used to empower our young people. They're all out of work. A high percentage, they're leaving university and they need to be empowered. And also our women right now are suffering, our young men. Even today, we've heard that a 17-year-old has actually lost his life somewhere up in London. So Woman's View, it is about bringing women together and men We have to empower our community. Andrew is doing a fantastic job working with Croydon Council, but it is not enough, because I've been on the inside and I know that it's all to do with assimilation. We cannot assimilate the policy of Croydon Council anymore. We must speak out in Croydon. We need leaders from the church. And so when I've set up Women's View, you must all know, who are listening to me now, especially pastors, that I set up Selah Christian Advisory Group in the past. And this is about, we must empower our community, and our young people are dying. And I'm calling on the church today, not churches, a single body in Croydon, Black majority churches, that we have to empower our young people. So Women's View is going to be about empowering women who are then going to be in a position to help our young people. And I hope that sums it up for you, because it's evolving as such. Yes?
Hi, Doctor, if you send me the flyer, I can send it out to our network as well. So we have a network of over 3,000 people as well. So if you send it over to us, I'll get it sent out on our network, yeah?
Super, super. The website, by the way, is being built at the moment, and it's just been registered as well. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Bishop.
As we wait for Bishop Nicholson to join us, Andrew, what can leaders and churches in our community do to facilitate what Dr. Velmont just mentioned, and also to help bring to pass the motives and the agenda initiatives of the BAME? The BME.
Do you know what? Thank you. It's about joining together. I think we have been separate, even though I'm a man of God, and Bishop Mark was my bishop for near enough 20 years as well, and I've known you as well, Bishop, as well, for the last couple of years as well. But I had a meeting with Pastor Damien Luke last week, and it was kind of like a truths meeting, and we both left the meeting after saying, you know what, we have to work together. It cannot be the churches over there, BME Forum here, Dr. Velmont over here. We have to come together for our community, for our young children, for our older children, for our elders. And I see Dr. Velma, just agreeing. But that's what we need to do, Pastor, as well, Bishop. So I think I've met you, 18 months ago, 2 years, and I think since we've met, we have connected. You mean I've been able to share your events, you share my events, you're on our WhatsApp, I've invited you down, and that's what needs to be happen. And what needs to stop is the I'm in my corner and you're in your corner, and no, that needs to stop. So if you ask me what we can do, and maybe I need to do more as well. I'm not saying it's the church's fault. I need to do more and reach out to the wider churches as well. But we have to come, because us coming together as one voice. Oh, is Bishop there now? Yeah, us coming together as one voice is going to be better than us coming separately. Bishop Mark, are you there?
I am. My screen's gone dark. I don't know what's happening.
Yes, we can't see you, sir.
My camera's. But you can hear me, yes?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
And if you can contribute now to what we're talking about.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's a pity that you can't see me. I don't know what's gone wrong here. But yes, you're perfectly right, Andrew. When you mentioned about your constituency, we got to understand that the church is one of the biggest, or at least the biggest constituency in Croydon. And we should be also around the table, whatever decision is made, because obviously most of those people that you may be dealing with on a daily basis are inside our churches. And so we have to do our utmost best. We know, for instance, we have the TCC, which is Together Churches in Croydon. We meet at least 64 churches on a daily basis since the lockdown. And we discuss every single issue. Never, ever have we discussed issues like that. And we've moved even much more tighter than ever with community initiatives. So we have a powerful force. 3 years ago, we mobilized, and I would say at least 2,500 to 3,000 people to march through Croydon because we were sick and tired of the death rate of our young people with a knife crime. That again shows me that the power is in the hands of, the people, especially the black community, the church. So I don't think we should give up. We still need to negotiate. And I think we need to bring these to the forum to say, look, the biggest constituency that you have at this moment is the church. And you're right. We've got to stop the corner mentality. I do my things there. Joshua 3:4 says, we've never been this way before. Absolutely. Who had 40,000 in their church is no different to who have 40 in their churches at this moment. We're finding out at this current moment, especially the church, and I speak about the church, there is a galvanization. We are coming together like never before because we have no other choice. We've got to share resources. We've got to do things like this. Let's face it. I mean, I haven't done anything on this platform like this with you for a long time. And I could say with Bishop. I mean, just the other day, Bishop, actually, we did something. But it's this kind of forum that's brought us together. And we need to seize the opportunity. I'm going to tell you now, we can't do it alone. Impossible. It's just impossible. It's impossible to do it on our own. We will be left behind. So I think it's important that we both push, not just you on your own, Andrew, not you on your own. The church has a responsibility because we carry a massive constituency, a massive amount of people that does hear us, does want things to change. And if you've got a vehicle, we need to get on it. And I'll make it known.
Thank you, Bishop.
Here
Thank you.
that's what must be done.
Thank you.
Bishop Mark.
Thank you.
Now, let's come to the youth in our communities. What are we and our various churches and organizations doing to address the challenges of the youth in our community? And what more can we do as ministers, leaders, churches, and NGOs? So we're talking about the youth. What more can we do? What are we doing as churches and organizations to address the challenges of the youth in our community? And what more can we do as ministers, as leaders, as churches in our organizations? Should we start with Dr. Val?
Can you hear me? Because it seems to be cutting out. I am a relatively new member at Trinity, but Baptist, but they do a lot of work with the young people. I know they have the youth ministry and mentoring program for young people. I had also offered to set up a creative writing group to allow young people to explore identity and belonging and to express themselves. That hasn't happened yet. My concern is not so much what the churches are doing. Remember, I've been a member of quite a lot of churches as well as KICC. For me now, I am using this opportunity to call on the churches to say, you may have a lot of members, as Bishop has just mentioned, but something has gone wrong in our community. Our young people in Croydon cannot be killing themselves the way they are doing, yet they grew up in the church and they are members often, not always, of the church. Their parents are in church. So we need to have a deeper discussion, yes, which Bishop will pick up on, Bishop Nicholson will come back to, but we're going to have an open and deeper discussion about what is going on in the church, that our young people can come up through the church. And then at the other end, 17 to 20, we find that they are killing themselves. So I am fretting a lot about what is it that the church is not doing. You notice I haven't said churches. I keep thinking, what is the church not doing in that sense? So I'm going to leave it at that, because I think that's more a question for Bishop Nicholson and the churches in Croydon to discuss rather than myself?
I'd really like to discuss this, and I'm going to be very open and honest at the moment. We have to think about legacy. We shouldn't have waited for COVID for us to start thinking about legacy. Legacy and succession, from where I'm coming from, is so important. Bishop Hutton, we will not be around forever. And so we should be looking around right now for who's going to succeed us. Back in my day, I remember one particular bishop said that he's not giving the church to anybody. He'll die with it. I don't know why he said that, but obviously there must have been some anger that was going on with him. But we should be looking for succession. And I'm going to be open and honest with you at this moment. We are in the age now where this is where the young people are thriving. I know we have issues, fathers, children, and mentoring, yes. But if I have to look at the children or the young people in our church, this is the technological age where they are able to beginning to use the technology to feed, because you know it is. You could go for a lunch and they're with you, you're expecting them to talk with you around the table. They're not. They're actually silent and they're talking to God knows how many people there are. But now this is the opportunity, even in our churches, and I want to talk from our church, where we are now streaming our service, and Bishop would endorse that. We've got the youth coming along and doing these things and teaching us things. And we're saying, my good gracious, we had these people in our church all these years. And all we thought we could do is just let them do youth meeting and preach and so forth. And we never found out that there could be a youth ministry dealing with media. And I'm sitting back and I'm saying most of these things that are happening even in our church are run by our youth with the technology in their minds and in their attitude, that they could have big BBC jobs. And I'm not just speaking from where I'm coming from. Almost every church is seeing their young people who use this technology all the time. So we need to empower our young people now. Now, right this moment in time, we need to say, Bishop, Brother Andrew, Doctor, I don't know how this works. And you'll be amazed to see people that you are seeing coming in on a Sunday morning, naturally running, using the technology and blowing your head away because you thought, I didn't know you had that. Some of our young people that we're saying, I mentor young men, and many of them are finding it hard in the COVID situation at this moment because they're locked in, incarcerated, no father figure. And sometimes the only way that they burst out is because they think it's all a conspiracy. It's not real. It doesn't exist. It's about control. And then at the end of the day, you're finding them move into the era of anarchy. We need to actually do something. We need, as pastors, as leaders, to actually do something about sitting down with them. And I'll be honest with you, most of us are so busy, we have been. Now we're not flying around anywhere. Now we're not preaching on people's pulpits like we used to be. We've got the time now. And sit with our young people and say, how is it out there? How has COVID treated you? And they'll look at us with wide eyes. They think, wow, you're talking to us. You're sharing with us. I'm talking from my heart. I'm telling you, if we begin to engage with them right now, you are going to be surprised at giftings that they have, that they use every day to correspond in university, to correspond at their workplace with their friends. We could turn that around. It's no different from a young guy who's selling drugs. He bought a £5 worth of bag of drugs, and at the end of the day, he made £250. That means he's got some type of entrepreneurial spirit with him. From £5 to 250. We need to grab hold of that same type of skill with our young people, put it in their hands, and trust them. Trust them. I'm going to say no more, but that's my passion, and I've seen that work. That's the only way we're going to reach out to young people. Trust them. Give them a chance.
Mark, that's awesome. Andrew, would you like to add something to that as well?
Yes. Listen, So, totally agree with Bishop Mark, but make sure that we're listening at the same time as well, because we can trust them, but we have to make sure that we listen. We have to make sure, and as I said, I must admit, I'm a product of Bishop Mark as well. So, I've known Bishop for coming up 25 years as well. So he grew me up. There's certain men I would say he was my mentor as well, and I would still class Bishop Mark as one of my mentors who looked after me and taught me, I would say, taught me from the streets to where I am now as well. And I think that is what's needed as well. A lot of these young men do not have fathers around, and we as father figures, as role models, as leaders in our community, in our churches, we need to listen to our young boys and our young girls, of course, but there's always mothers around, there's always grandmas, and but we need to listen. We need to sit down. We need to hear what is going on with our young men. I must say, Anthony King in Croydon is doing a wonderful job at the moment, bringing churches together, bringing the sectors together, bringing voluntary groups together as well, and bringing young men together to say, hey, this is how we feel, and what can you guys do as well? So, when I look back at how ERCG used to be, when I was there, we had so many powerful young men and women. And now when you look at them, most of them are now teachers. Most of them are now teachers. We've got head teachers, we've got deputy head teachers, we've got teachers of science and RE. But that is because the man of God, Bishop Mark, he mentored them, he looked after them. And remember, if he couldn't do it, he passed it on to somebody else. And I was one of the youth leaders as well in the church as well. So if Bishop Mark, remember, doing the Friday night youth club, doing the homework club, and that all came from the church as well. We went paintballing, we went cinema. So as a church, we made sure that we looked after our young people then, and that's why we then brought in Dr. Velma, to then teach our youth workers and our Sunday school teachers to make sure that we were doing it correctly and we were putting safeguarding in place. So that's how we all three are all connected. But let's just make sure that we are listening and we are still doing what young people want to do, which is actually talk and have fun as well. Let's remember that as well. Young people want to have fun as well. Let's make sure it's not just always Bible. They want to go cinema, they want to go bowling, they want to engage,
I think you're right, Ella. I think you're correct, because we have always talked about them, but they've never been in the room. We want to talk about young people, what they want, what they eat, what they want to do, but they've never been inside the room to make that contribution. So that's what needs to be changed. We're talking for them. We're talking what we think they need, and yet still they're not in the room to hear what we've got to talk about. So you're right. You're right. These teachers now will say they accredited everything they've achieved because it started from the church. And you're right, the teachers that has come from the ministry, my daughter as well, she's abroad teaching.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm proud of that. Where did that come from? The church. So yes, you're right.
May I come in here? I also haven't traveled to so many places and been in perhaps more churches too. Well, no, Bishop has been all over. I want to also suggest that we need to normalize wealth creation in our young people. So within the church environment, Bishop Hutton, you have space in your church, Bishop Nicholson. We need to be creating employment for our young people within the church to start off a pilot. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to give our young people hope. And that begins with, I am going to call on every pastor in Croydon to think about how they can contribute to creating employment for our young people within the community. There must be a building and supplementary schools. I'm calling on all the churches when lockdown is up, or even Zooms, but there is Croydon Supplementary Education Project. It is not enough. Churches, when a building is closed in the week, I am going to call on all churches, if you have a building and the space, provide education for our young people. Do not fight the government to, what's the word I'm looking for? To decolonize the curriculum, which we don't know how long this is going to take. I am calling on Croydon churches, provide supplementary education, start looking at how you can create employment for our young people, please. Those are the things. It's good to mentor, it's good to listen to them, it's good to talk, but action, visualize to actualize. So now it has to be firm, concrete projects for our young people. We also have to teach wealth creation in that money stays in our community. It is not spent in other communities. There's no such, we should not be talking the black pound anymore. We should be talking about every day spending the money within our community so that wealth remains for our young people, so that they are not unemployed. We must start creating within the church. Bishop, you've mentioned, I can't remember how many churches, I wrote it down. You mentioned in Croydon. And all the
230 odd churches.
Sorry?
200,
How many?
over
400.
230 odd churches.
That's
in
right.
Croydon.
There you go. Within the church environment now, you've got to be saying, how can we create employment for our young people? How do we normalize wealth so that we are not seeing 2 or 3 people who are quite wealthy and then cause rivalry and envy? Our young people must have hope, and hope comes through leadership. Our leaders must now think creation. It's not enough to mentor and talk. We need to move a stage further, give them hope.
Yes.
And that's what I'm here for today, people, to send that message out of hope. Thank you.
Okay. Based on what Dr. McClymont just mentioned, we started this. It's interesting how our curriculum in our schools don't teach anything about money. Money matters. And our children come out of, all of us come out of schools not knowing anything about money, not knowing anything about wealth creation, not knowing anything, no financial education, no financial literacy. So we decided at the beginning of the lockdown, we decided we're going to declare every Wednesday as Financial Literacy and Financial Education Wednesday. So we started doing a 30-minute program called Money Matters. So every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 11:30, we have a session online on Facebook and Instagram called Money Matters, where we teach on financial literacy, financial education, budgeting, what people need to understand about money, savings, investments, mortgages, how to pay off your debt, how to come out of debt, how to stay out of debt. So I'll have that scrolling at the bottom of the screen for everyone to take advantage of. Every Wednesday, it's a financial education platform to teach on financial education as our contribution to our borough, to our youth, to our community. You know, it's amazing. I was studying on about wealth creation among the Jews, how money stays within the Jewish community to build the Jewish community, how money stays within the Asian community to build the Asian community. And yet when money comes into our community, it goes out as fast as it came. So we are not building our particular community. Let's speak about that for a few minutes as we begin to round up. I'd like your take on, the three of you, your take on wealth creation, money matters, why blacks don't invest in our own community, but we are buying rice, we are buying tennis, we are buying what? Brand name shoes, brand name this, brand, not building castles in our stomach, going on holidays, driving cars on hire purchase when we still live in rented properties, living in council houses, and we are not buying it. I mean, what is all that about our community? So let's address that for a few minutes as we begin to round. I'll extend the time so we finish at 12:30. Yeah, so let's speak about that. Bishop Mark, go ahead.
A poor man saves, but a rich man invests.
Okay.
the volume a bit, Bishop Mark.
Did you get that? A poor man will save money, but a rich man will invest. Now, if you take that and look at that carefully, you'll find so many different avenues. A poor man will save money, but really, a rich man, he invests money. We need to know the value and the worth and what we are doing. And I think the only way we can really come up to the plate is to understand, what are we leaving behind? What legacy are we leaving? I'm going to say this and then I'm finished. Most millionaires that are millionaires today weren't born with a gold spoon in their mouths. It so happened that an inheritance fell to them. And what they thought to themselves, let's invest it, not spend it. Let's invest it. Lord Sugar would be a great example. Hardworking person and learned to invest. Now he's worth billions. I think we need to do something in that area of wealth creation where we've been taught to invest. Please understand, I always say, even our tithing, the law of seed stands. Even a farmer, agricultural is a typical way. It's not spiritual, planting a seed in the ground for a farmer, but it bears fruit. I say the law of seed, and this is my first, you must have seed. Second, seed must be sown proportionately, 20, 30, 40-fold. Third thing, sown in good soil. Fourth, then that harvest will come up because it's fertile land. It's land that is fertile. Fifth, that seed will take you everywhere. That's the law of seed. And I'm not preaching about tithing, but I'm giving you a foundation. We need exercising how to invest. Even if it's a £10, £20, and understand how we can benefit from that. Please, you see, you're really sorting me out here. A drug dealer can get at least a 10 bag worth of wraps. And at the end of the day, he can turn that £10 into maybe £300. Now, I'm not supporting. Why can't we take that out of their hands and put something else in their hands and let them use the same skill and turn that around? So we have it. It can be done. And that's where we're thinking. So wealth creation is on the top of my agenda because, as I said, a poor man will save money, but a rich man will invest money. Say something. Say something.
Well, I would like to come in there.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure I'm echoing now.
Yeah.
We need to turn, Andrew, yeah, that's better. Now, there are 4 points I want to make here, but make no mistake, I am coming as an academic. Number one, systemic racism has hindered our growth and progress in the community. So we need to keep that in mind. Number two, we have been conditioned to be a market for other people's products. And this goes back a very long way. It is going to take a lot to decolonize our minds that our job is not to be a market for other communities to create and for us to consume. Those 2 points are key. We are not a market to consume what others have created. Wealth creation, Bishop, anybody, to our young people, not necessarily to people in their 50s, 60s. I am talking about young people leaving university right up to their 40s. We need to be very clear. Systemic racism has hindered progress. Number one, yes, we can pray because I've been on my knees and I've seen miracles. But wisdom, knowledge, and understanding means understanding systemic racism, understanding that we have been conditioned to be a market for Nike, for any number of, we don't want to promote anybody's product. We are consumers rather than creators. So we have to rid our minds. Number 3 is that it is very important now for the church to do what Bishop Wilfred Wood did. He created a credit union. The church has to create wealth. Wealth means a credit union must be set up. If I'm not talking about the one. Is it the Seventh-day Adventist? Tell me somebody created one. This is a new one in Croydon. When I was at Croydon Council, I was a member of the credit union. Every month, I put £50 away that just wasn't there in my mind. And whenever I wanted something for my children that I didn't want to spend from my own pocket, that's where the money came from. So I'm calling on all you pastors hearing my voice. No infighting. Remember, I know most of you because I've engaged with you. No infighting, no egos. 12 people, 12 disciples, you know that, 12 months of the year. I want 12 pastors to come forward and set up a credit union that is going to ensure the money is not leaving our community. That is vital when we move out of lockdown. Wealth creation means having money circulating in the community. So 12 people, I am on board because I saw the vision this morning. I've been up from 3 o'clock. I saw the vision. It's a credit unit that must be set up in Croydon. And I've already been a member of a credit unit, so I know it works. And remember Selah Christian Advisory Group? God has brought us all back here together, all 4 of us who've worked in the past. So credit union first, people, and program our young people that we are not a market. We are not consumers of other people's goods. We are going to be producers. And that is what I have to say. Thank you.
Bishop, if I could just put in my little bit, because I know time's going on, yeah? So first of all, the BME Forum. So what we've done over since COVID is, or really since George Floyd lost his life as well, is that we've created a Black business directory as well for all the Black businesses in Croydon as well now as well. So we've now got over 100 organizations in that directory. And if there's anyone listening, once again, who wants to be in that directory, it comes out every month. But please email us, and I'll make sure that your business is in there as well. And it's so wonderful to know that people are now using that directory as well. So they're saying they want an electrician, but they want to, keep the money, with the Black pound rather than just going to British Gas, etc., etc. Bishop, your workshops as well. I know we touched on it a year ago and COVID's come, but we need to try to see how we can bring your finance workshops to the forum as well.
Okay.
Once again, I've got a massive platform, so if I can bring you, Bishop Hutton, to start talking about your finance workshops, and let's do lunchtime ones. Let's make sure. We did touch on that a year ago, but we haven't gone forward, because I know you've got wonderful books as well. I know you blessed me with about 3 or 4 books as well, but you've got more books than anybody I know, so let's see how we can get them as well. But there's also another book as well which I've also read for a long time, Rich Dad Poor Dad as well. And that is such an awesome book, and it's so simple as well, and I'm trying to get as many people to read that as well, including my son, my daughter, so they can understand about wealth and where it comes from, and you don't have to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. 2 other things as well. We just talked about young people, right? We talked about how can we get young people into our church, how can we get them doing stuff. My son is now doing Forex trading, and he's doing all of these kind of wonderful stuff. How can we as a church start teaching them this as well, and bringing that as well? Because that's what they want. Unfortunately, they want quick money, so how can we kind of teach them to do it, but let's do it properly. And just the last thing, just for myself as well, over COVID, I've started to buy shares as well, but I'm buying shares in people such as like Nike or Adidas and all, so every quarter I'm now getting paid by them as well now as well, so there's too often we're going out, and as Dr. said, we're investing with all of these other people. So I've started to say to my wife and to my family, let's start investing in those companies so that when they do out their dividends, we get a nice check every 3 months as well. And I'm trying to teach this little one as well, you know. But I would say that is my things as well. Is, you know, let's just move forward. Let's maybe come out of the old way. Dr. Velma just said about creating a new bank, a new credit union. You know, let's do that, and let's do something. But once again, let's keep it in our community so that we can really develop ourselves and our young children, such as this young man here.
I think you're correct.
But Andrew, if you'd like to give them your email address so they can contact you about all these things. I think we need to, what we'll do when we finish, if you guys stay on for a few minutes, and we'll try and put something together as well. Andrew would like to give them your email address. So
yeah, my email address once again. Oops, sorry, it's Andrew. Sorry, somebody's on mute again. Somebody's yeah. Andrew at bmeforum.org. And I will promise I'll get back to anybody by Tuesday.
awesome.
I'm taking Monday off.
Amen. Bishop Mark would like to give them your email address, and Dr. Velma as well, our website as well, so they can, any initiative you are involved in, they can participate.
Bishop, do you want to go?
Yes, my heart's desire is also taking care of ministers. Henceforth, who ministers to the ministers? There's 4 churches that I know, pastors that I work with, who are not in fellowship anymore because they cannot afford their buildings. Many ministers at this moment are financial ruin because of COVID. They need somebody to talk to and to share with. I think it's important that there is a forum that ministers don't feel embarrassed to talk about how they've suffered through COVID. Loss of members, loss of knowing how to navigate themselves on technology. They need to talk. And so therefore, those forums that I have called MAN, and it's the initial of my name actually, Mark Andrew Nicholson. And I was blessed that my parents gave me the acronym MAN. So it's to support and give a lever up to other ministers. I really get on very well that I'm able to speak to pastors who are suffering, and I'm a very resourceful person. I like to empower and to share what I have with them. So that's where I'm at. My email address is mag.nicholson. Also serve as a magistrate in my community, so also are able to help people with problems with their young people, what to do if they're going into court, what are they to expect. So my email address is magnicholson@aol.com. Okay, magnicholson@aol.com. So it's a holistic review of what's happening in our community, but who ministers to the minister, especially at this time. A lot of ministers are going through a lot of problems, and they just need to talk.
Okay, before I bring on Dr. McClellan as we round up, I'm turning 60 on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, and I've got this free ebook, The Power of Mentorship. You heard Andrew Brown mention how he was mentored by Bishop Nicholson and how the 3 of them have known each other for years. Mentor, your future is determined by your mentor is a picture of your future. Everyone watching on Facebook, YouTube, your mentor is a picture of your future. Mentorship is very important. You're either being mentored or being tormented. You're either being mentored or being tormented in life. Mentors make life easy. Just like Isaac Newton said, if I've gone further, it's been by standing on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead of me. So I'm offering this free mentorship book, free ebook on the power of mentorship. The details are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Take the details, and also at the end of the service, create a watch party and take the full details. Click on the link and then claim your free, pre-order your free copy, and it will be delivered in your email inbox on my birthday this coming Wednesday. So it's a free ebook, The Power of Mentorship. Take advantage of this book. Pre-order your free copy. And the instructions will scroll at the bottom of the screen. I want as many people to order. I have 999 to give. So share it with your friends and relatives everywhere. 999 copies. So feel free to share. I'll forward it on WhatsApp to my guests to forward to as many people as possible.
Yes,
Let them claim order your free copy. 999 free to celebrate my 60th birthday, to give God all the glory. So as we close, I'm going to give you all 2 minutes each to round up. Let's start with Dr. McClymont. 2 minutes each to round up as we close the session today.
Okay, so I want to say 3 things. The power of networking. In the last decade, I have traveled all over the place. I have made good friends, hopefully made, some good noise as well. I've also been privileged to be mentored by academics as far as the University of the West Indies in Jamaica, and I know I can call on them tomorrow to come to the Women's View platform. I am also a mentor for many young women, so a lot of time is spent on the phone right now in terms of COVID and what's happening. So for me, networking is key. I cannot stress it enough. Networking, mentorship, but ensure you have the right mentors. If they're not the right people, you can be going down the wrong road. The other thing is Woman's View. My contact details. First of all, the website is being built at the moment. So it's WOMANZVUE@gmail.com. And it's also about mentoring. But the most important thing for you to know about Women's View is that it is also a publishing arm. I will be publishing my own books, and I will also at some point be publishing other people's work. But I have 5 poetry books plus a colossal book on the history of, it's not just history, Jamaica. It's to do with chattel slavery. So you're in Scotland, then Jamaica, then you're in Nigeria, you're back on a slave ship, back in Jamaica, you're in Cuba, and then Victorian Britain. So it's colossal, it's 1,025 pages, likely to publish myself. So Woman's View, it's also Woman's View Publishing Limited, has just been registered. So you need to know that there will be a publishing house in Croydon as well soon, because we must stop relying on others. We must get rid of the dependency complex that has been fostered under slavery and colonialism. So for me at the moment, everything is about self-reliance. We're not victims, we are overcomers, but it's very important that we are independent right now, people. The last thing I want to say in going, we have a lot of charities. I have worked with many charities to help to source funding. But when you have a charity, your hands are tied and you cannot always deliver what you want to do to the community. So that could even mean a supplementary school that you want to teach. If you take funding, you cannot deliver the way you want to. So I'm appealing to our community. And I know Bishop Nicholson and Bishop Houghton Wood and also Brother Andrew Brown here will agree with me that one of the most important things right now is to get a credit union going so that money is actually being put away in our community. And that's been done so because we need to mentor our young people and we need them to see credible leaders. One of the things that I think from my discussions is that our young people do not trust our leaders. And that's another conversation I hope both bishops here will take on board the next time we are invited to a lunchtime meeting, is how to get our young people to really trust our leaders. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Awesome. Bishop Nicholson has 2 minutes.
Unmute, Bishop.
Unmute. Unmute. Yeah.
Sorry about that. As a local minister in the community, we've got to work together, Andrew, without a doubt, and we need to bring those ministers together because, as I said, your constituency is built up of a lot of people from the church. And so it's recorded on here that I said that. But what I want to make sure that we do in this season is reach out to the many people, pastors, that are suffering at this moment. They have given up. They've talked about how they've been disappointed because they thought they would have gone back into their churches. And so I'm having private conversations with individuals of how we can resource them, give them something, help them about how they do conference calls, how they do Zoom meetings. Believe it or not, people are saying we have never done this before. So it's who ministers to the minister. I want to make sure that I'm there as a listening ear, as a man in the community, been here for years, that they can feel, look, this is my worst fears. I'm in a financial situation. We can't go back into our buildings now. We just don't think we can afford to do it. And just having that forum for them to talk about it. Who ministers to the minister? Can I just say, when we're standing on the pulpit and preaching, you think it's easy preaching to nobody. It's not easy.
That's right.
It's not easy preaching to an empty place with a green screen behind you, not hearing people say amen, not people saying preach, Bishop. This is a whole new walk. And if people aren't used to that, or you've been preaching for years and having to preach to a camera with lighting and settings, some people say, I'm not doing this. So even if you have that problem, and as I said, when church was locked down for the first time, I couldn't go, it wrecked me because that's my life. So it was a whole adjustment. Some people do not have the tenacity or the tolerance. And so they think, I can't be bothered with this. We need to hear you talk. And if you're out there watching this, you need to talk to us. We need to encourage you that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, that you're able to navigate in this uncharted time.
Andrew, would you like to have the final word for today?
Bless you, Bishop. And once again, oops, you guys have put yourselves on mute. Yeah. Thank you for inviting us today as well. Much appreciated. And thank you to Bishop Mark and to Dr. Velma as well. Thank you so much. My few words. Black History Month. So what I've tried to do is kind of break down of the four things that we've already talked about today as well. So Black History Month as well, just to, we've run 75 workshops over the last 3 weeks, and we've still got workshops today and next week as well regarding Black history. So yeah, I would definitely say make sure that we remember our history and our Black history as well. So please remember to go to our website as well and check out the rest of the workshops which are happening next week. Our health, we touched on COVID as well. We have to make sure that we look after ourselves as well. And I'm looking at our bishops here as well. Let's make sure that we are eating correctly as well, and we're maybe doing our exercise as well. Bishop, we haven't been to the gym for a little while. We need to go back again. We need to go back. But let's make sure that we really are eating properly and we're really looking after ourselves as well. Young people, we touched on the young people as well. Let's make sure that we are, remember that we are talking, but most importantly, we are listening to our young people as well. So let's make sure that we are listening to our young people. And the last and not least as well is we touched on wealth as well. The power of wealth. Our Dr. Velma is saying, let's talk. She's kind of crying out, let's set up a credit union. Let's see what we can really do going forward. And also, how can we really teach our young people about wealth so that they can own houses and own businesses, and etc. going forward. So for me, that's my 4 things. And once again, thank you so much. Oops. Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can hear you. Yes.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Dr. Velma, Bishop Nicholson, and Andrew for taking the time to be with us on this platform. I trust that all our Facebook viewers and YouTube viewers that you have been blessed. Please take a note of everything that you have heard on this platform. Very powerful. I'm going to encourage you to create a Facebook watch party and then share this message with as many people as you can. Share it on all the social media networks, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Share it everywhere. Create a Facebook watch party. Invite other people to watch this detailed session with them. Watch this session with them. Recommend it to as many people. And we are back here every Saturday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Like I mentioned before, this Wednesday, I'm celebrating my 60th birthday. So next week, Saturday, I'll be interviewing my wife. My wife, the greatest achiever, how she's been able to be married to me, I call that an achievement. Being married to me for 33 years, that's a great achievement. So I'll be asking her questions about her secret behind standing with me in the pulpit, standing with me in ministry, standing with me all these years. Is going to be an awesome. So we are inviting every one of you to join us next week, Saturday, at the same time, 12 noon to 1 p.m. lunch hour with high achievers. And my guest will be my wife, Pastor Bernice Hattonwood. God bless you all for joining us on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, Instagram. And once again, my guest, please stay, don't go, stay right where you are. And after the session, we'll just have a chat. Thank you, all Facebook viewers, Instagram viewers, YouTube viewers. God richly bless you. Don't forget, tomorrow, join us in our service online from 11:30 to 12:30. And if you belong to the churches of Bishop or any of our guests, make sure you attend the services or watch online. God richly bless you once again. Have a wonderful afternoon. And the watchword and the last word always is share, share, share this message. And don't forget to order my free book. Don't forget to order my free ebook, The Power of Mentorship. Don't forget to order. It's free of charge. Watch the program all over again. Take a snapshot of how you can pre-order right now. It's free of charge. God bless you. God bless you.
God bless everybody.